Yo, 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 welcome to ULMX, Universal Language Media Exchange. Our mission is to make practicing speaking new languages fun, and here on YouTube, we like to talk about society and culture, language, and, of course, our app, which you can find in the App Store. Today we're talking about society and culture. This video is about the one biggest difference between the United States and Europe, and especially Germany. I'm not going to leave you hanging. This is it. It's the special threshold at which point you can say, I'm an American, or I'm a European, or any nationality you choose from Europe. But that time span in the United States is extremely short. It's unique in the global perspective for that. And here in Europe, if you're born in whatever country, say Dutch, not a country, say the Netherlands, you can be there for life and they will still call you Russian just because your parents moved from Russia to the Netherlands. So you're born Dutch, in my opinion, as an American, with whatever I have for my views. I think you're Dutch, but the Dutch will say you're Russian. And the Russians will say, well, you weren't born in Russia. I don't know what the Russians will say. And it's the same thing in Germany, where you maintain your heritage if you come from Italy, or a lot of people come from Turkey. It doesn't really matter where. I'm American, but I wouldn't be able to say, have a kid, and that kid could say it's 100% German. Even though, I would argue that the kid is 100% German because it was raised in Germany or born in Germany. That's how I see that. And this is American. That's the American mindset. Is there a bad side to it? Is there a good side to it? Well, my favorite thing about it is if you come to the United States and you believe in the general principles behind the United States, freedom, liberty, what else is there to the United States? Rule of law, fairness, equality, every man for himself. No, just defining your own destiny and having that freedom to do that. It doesn't matter where you came from. You're American. And I don't think Europeans allow people to just say they're European all of a sudden. But at the same time, even when I introduce myself as someone from the United States of America, they'll often ask, yeah, but where are you from? And for me, I still am from the United States. My parents were both born in the United States. My father's side, both of his parents are born in the United States. Mother's side, both are born in the United States. And then after that generation, you might find, I think only on my mother's side, people who were from Italy. And the other groups, I'm assuming, were also from the United States. Or, I don't know, you're getting pretty far back at that point, and no one really even knows. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. I don't have the family tree. I was supposed to do that project in 11th grade or 10th grade. I just made up all the names. It was way too much work. That was such an unfair assignment. So the good thing about not incorporating as quickly would be, in theory, you're maintaining a bit more of that respect for your ancestry and just holding on to an identity from your forefathers, your ancestors. The good side about incorporating and taking on a new identity would be that you feel like you belong wherever you are. I would attest that is a huge benefit, but you could do that here. And I would do it here. What I'm trying to point out about this cultural difference is people mostly don't. I would. I can guarantee you, if I live here for 25 years, so that then when I'm 50, I'm not going to be like flaunting around that I spent the first 25 years of my life in Germany. I mean, in the United States. I'm going to be just, I don't think anyone's going to be able to notice that I was from America. But that's my own personal vision. Like when I meet someone in the United States and they have a really strong accent because they moved from India and they came to the United States, or even their parents came to the United States and raised the kid and the kid has an accent, I always kind of think like, you kind of screwed that kid. Like you just gave the kid an accent. He's grown up in the United States and has a Japanese accent. Like, how did you do that? As long as it's understandable, that's not an issue. And it's not really about the language so much as the identity. I think it's nice to have two identities. It gives you a little bit more surface area. It gives you more self, even. And that's the same when you can speak two languages, you suddenly realize your personality has more facets to it. I had one job interview where we spoke for like 40 minutes in English, and the woman spoke really well. She's a German native, and at some point I was like, yeah, I said something about my German, and she's like, oh, do you mind if we switch to German? And we both switched, and it felt so weird. And I was like, it's strange because I feel like I'm talking to a different person. And she was like, yeah, it's really weird. Doesn't it sound like it's a totally different person? I was like, yeah, that's totally what I said. Aside from language, culture can be the same way. When you just see things from two different perspectives or more, and you just think, well, that's one way to look at it, and that's another way to look at it. It doesn't necessarily mean one is better or one is right. But what I was saying, though, is if you're raising your kid and, like, you're not incorporating yourself, or if forget the kid, like, if you move to the United States and live there for 25 years and never really learn the language, never really feel like an American, it's almost like you're just reducing your own belonging for no reason. You would be. Either you don't like them, or for some reason you never really felt like opening up and letting them in and kind of showing yourself more and becoming more of an American. And that's the whole point of this. Like, what does that mean? Because it's got so many possibilities. It doesn't matter how you speak. It doesn't matter if you have an accent. It doesn't matter if you do like Japanese stuff or Korean stuff or whatever. Like, you could have your apartment totally set up like a Japanese apartment, or it doesn't matter, anything. That would be fine in the United States, and you would still be an American. You could. Like, that's the point I'm trying to get at. And it might be easier to become a European. Like, I definitely feel European. I feel like kinship between all Europeans in the sense that there's a lot more I have in common with European culture than Asian culture. And there's nothing that I think is worse about Asian culture. It's just habits, basically. And I think my habits are super similar to Europeans. Bad habits too. I mean, honestly, the Asian toilets are way more correct for your biological, anatomy and stuff. But that is neither here nor there. I could never become French, I think, at this point. I could never become French. Although I don't think I really want to. But maybe say Italian. Like, I have Italian ancestry. And if I went to Italy and incorporated into that culture and society, could I ever become like Italian? I think I could. Could you become a biker? Could you switch your favorite football team? or basketball team or baseball team? Could you switch your adherence from one group to another group? Even if they're not mutually exclusive. Like maybe you were into something that just doesn't seem to be like something else. Maybe you're into mechanics and motorcycles and stuff, but at the same time, you also want to get into cooking or baking cakes. And it's like, like the same guy who's tinkering with all like these like gears and metal things and oil, and now he's like doing the frosting on the cake too. Like that's like, how can you be American and German? Like you can be. I did see one time in the news, it was kind of a piece, I don't know, it wasn't really news, but it was about cultural identities and people being more than one nationality at the same time. And it was, I think, a Korean guy who was German, and he's like, I am German. And he spoke really good German. You can kind of tell the people who are like keen to be, I don't know, forerunners in whatever society or whatever group or whatever culture they're in, whatever city they're in, whatever field they're in. And this dude spoke really, really well. And he was here for maybe half his life. And he was like 50, 40, I don't know. But he was like, yeah, I've been here for half my life. I'm German and Korean. And it sounded more controversial, I guess, is what I'm getting at. In the United States, we'd be like, oh yeah, no, obviously, cool, yeah, of course. But I think in Germany, it would be like, how can you be both? How can you be both, though? That's a cultural difference. That's just a way of looking at things. Sometimes contradiction throws people for loops, and sometimes people don't bat an eyelash, and that's just how it is. Thanks for checking this video out. If you like videos like this on society and culture, subscribe to ULMX. And we make videos about language as well to accompany our app and our mission of making practicing speaking new languages fun. Our app is available in the App Store. And if you want to check it out for free, just go on the Spotify or Apple Podcasts podcast, and you can listen to all the content that's on the app and see if you want to play that with the extra functionality inside the app. All right. Thanks for checking in. See you next time. Peace.
Jetzt neu. Mit der ULMX-App kannst du endlich dein Englisch polieren und trotzdem die Augen und Hände frei halten. Stell die Geschwindigkeit ein und leg los. Nutze deine Zeit während deiner Aktivitäten sinnvoll, im Auto, zu Hause oder beim Fitnesstraining. Verbinde dazu ganz einfach dein Handy mit dem Lautsprecher oder deinen Kopfhörern.
Let's get it on.